Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shumaila Umar from Pakistan. I am working on women rights. So my question is regarding slavery. Slavery is against human rights. So what's the concept of slavery in Islam, especially female slaves and keeping relation with them with nikah or without nikah? This is quite some verses I read. It's quite confusing for me.
Sister asked the question that she is doing research on women drive and she's saying that as far as slavery is concerned, what is the view of Islam? And can Muslim have slave, etc., etc. As far as you read the Quran, there are several verses of the Quran which talk about freeing of slaves. Talks about freeing of slaves. As you realize, Quran is a book which is to be followed till the last day. If you analyze the rules and regulations of the Quran was revealed at a time where slavery was very common. Quran is the only religious book on the face of the earth which gives the rules and regulation of how to treat a slave. You can't overburden a slave. There are rules and regulations kept. Today, if you see the UN Charter, and if you want to put it right, like in slavery in Islam can only take place if there is a war. And if in the war, there can be slaves. Today, internationally, slavery is abolished, but today we have POW. You know POW? Prisoner of war. Prisoner of war. Now, if you analyze the UN Charter, which is supposed to be the most humane, if you know what's happening in Guantanamo Bay, it's totally against Islam. Yet they're doing it, the Americans. They claim to be the most humane people in the world, the maximum human rights according to me. The most unjust people in the world, and maximum violation of human rights in any country, it is done by the American government. The American may be good. I'm talking about the American government, and that's the reason I'm there on the list also, because I prove it to the world. Now today, if you analyze in a prisoner of war, sister, in a prisoner of war, any prisoner of war, any country, they are enclosed in a jail, correct? In Islam, a slave is not enclosed, you know that? So in Islam, I believe that tomorrow is slavery. Islam encourages freeing of slaves. Say, if you cannot marry, give the freedom to the slave as mahar. Quranic verse. Also in Nur. That give the freedom as a mahar. So in Islam, there are various options given. Today, of course, Islam discourages slavery. But if slavery has to come back, the only religious book, the only constitution which gives rights to the slave is Islam. If you follow the constitution, even of the UN Charter, if you read, it is nowhere close to Islam. So when you are talking in Islam, what is slave? It is prisoner of war.
No, about laundries, like there's a concept of laundry.
Yes, that's again. It's prisoner of war. What your right hand possesses is the word in the Quran. What your right hand possesses. What your right hand possesses. So there are rules and regulations laid down in Islam, and always Islam has encouraged freeing of slave. Always. But if you have to maintain a slave, there are some rules and regulations. Unlike in what others do, they do without telling. In normal prisoners of war camp, what happens? There's homosexuality, gays, lesbians, adultery, common. It is not in the rule book, but it is common. In Islam, Allah says in Surah Nisa chapter 4 verse number 3, marry women of a choice in 2s, 3s or 4s. If you can't do justice, marry only one. According to American statistics, an average American before he marries, he has 8 sexual partners. How many?
8.
Average. Some may have 1, some may have 2, some may have 100. 8. After he marries, how many has is not mentioned in the statistics? 8. In Islam, having sex besides your wife, it is prohibited. Yes, when there is slavery, that was permitted. Today it's abolished. When there is. What you have to realize, it doesn't go down the throat. Islam doesn't say marry more than one wife is compulsory. According to me, it is mubah. But if you marry, you have to be just between your wife. And today in the world, there are more women than male. In USA alone, there are 4.8 million females more than male. If every man marries a woman, yet there will be 4.8 million females more than male. So what will happen? For these 4.8 million females, they either marry a man who already has a wife or become public property. Oh, public property is such a harsh word. It is the most sophisticated word I can use, sister. So Islam has the solution to the problems of humankind and the problems of womankind. Islam only has the solution. There, what they do, they are selling their daughters, they are selling their mothers, they are talking about women's liberalization. Whenever you see an ad, invariably you see a woman. Now I am asking you a question. More men drive cars or women drive cars? Men drive car. But in the ad of a car, you'll invariably find a woman. I was told in a very famous ad of BMW, in front of the car, there's a lady with a bikini saying, test drive her now. Who, the girl or the car? So they're selling their daughters, they're talking about women liberalization. They're actually selling their daughters, selling their mother, selling their sisters. In Islam, we respect our mother. We respect our daughter, respect our sister. This is the hijab. They put the blame. Oh, they are subjugating the woman by keeping her in hijab. We are not subjugating, we are uplifting. If this is subjugation coming in a bikini ad in front of a car, we are happy to be subjugated by the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what you have to realize, sister, it is more of words, women liberalization. It is nothing but a disguised form of exploitation of body, dignity of soul, and deprivation of honor. In the garb of women liberalization, in the name of art and culture, they are selling their daughters. So they talk about women. That's the reason today, amongst those people, the fastest growing religion in Europe is Islam. In America is Islam. In the world is Islam. And out of those people accepting Islam, 2/3 are women, sister. Why? So if Islam is subjugating the women, why are the American women accepting Islam? Why are the European women accepting Islam? Because they find that Islam is the only religion which uplifts them and gives them respect, sister. And for more details, you can refer to my talk on the topic women rights in Islam. Usually get more answers.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much, Dr. Zakir Naik. I'm so sorry I have to cut this session due to time constraints. So